Hello, I am back with a new video and I'm very excited about this one because I'm doing something very different and I have decided to introduce my travel, my travel journal collection. Now, I don't have many, but I still wanted to do this anyway. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I have a very special announcement. I'm going to Japan. Yes, this is going to be my first trip to Japan, and I don't know when I'll actually go back to Japan. I'm probably only going to go once in my lifetime, I'm not gonna lie to you, just because there's just so many places that I want to go. But nonetheless, I have made an itinerary. I have organized everything, all the places I wanted to go, and if the future gives me the opportunity to go back, I will. But for now, I only have one trip planned for Japan. Nonetheless, I have to introduce my travel journals because I also have to pick the travel journal that I will take with me. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't have many, I only have 4. And so, yeah, it's not very many at all. I only have 4, and I really wanted to go over the pros and cons of every single one of them because every single one of them is different. I don't have replicas of any companies. I don't have replicas of, actually I do have one replica of like a brand, which is the Traveler Company journal. And that's it. So all of them are different. All of them are constructed differently and stuff like that. So I do want to go over it. Now, the first one I have is, you guessed it, this is the Travlers notebook by Travlers Company, and it's in the passport size. Now, I originally purchased this to make it as my wallet, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I hated it. I don't know what it is about this. I think one thing, it's definitely overpriced for what it is. As lovely as the Traveler Journal Company is, this is just extremely overpriced. This is $40. This was like $40, $45 I purchased this, and it is just a very small piece of leather with some elastic bands. Like, that's how I saw it when I got it. But what was really disappointing was the color when I got it. As I used it, I have like different impressions, but like when I got it, this is sort of like how I felt when I got it. This is supposed to be a camel. This is not camel, in my opinion. The color that I got is so dark. And if you've seen my previous videos, I actually sanded this and I reconditioned it so that, you know, the leather doesn't get bad. And it's just so dark. And the more you use it, it doesn't get lighter, it gets darker with the oils from your hands and everything. And so it's kind of like I wanted a camel to like contrast with my brown TNs. And it was like, it was so lackluster of an experience when I got it that I kind of just, you know, grew an icky feeling because it wasn't the color I wanted, and I didn't want to buy another camel because I didn't want the same leather to come in. So this is definitely not like the color of like the standard size. The standard size, I feel like if you look at like the diner TN, I'll like, please editor me, put a picture on the screen somewhere. It's definitely like a lighter color. And so I was so disappointed with this color. I was so disappointed with like how much I was paying for like just a small piece of leather. And how I see it is like brands aren't like a super, like I'm not into like brands, I guess you could say. And that could also be a thing. So even though the Traveler Company brand is really amazing for like the products that they have and everything, but I'm not attached. Like I'm like, oh, I have to get this because it's like I don't have that, and maybe that also is a thing. Now, what I got this for was as a wallet, and that was my fault. The first thing is that my wallet was this. This is a card holder. This is a leather card holder from a men's wallet that I had. And I used to have the men's wallet, but the men's wallet doesn't have a coin purse attached to it. And I really like having a coin purse. I stuff receipts sometimes in there. I put coins, of course. Especially like if you go parking in the city, you have to, you know, fill the meters and stuff like that. It's a whole lot cheaper than going to a parking garage. So I wanted to replace this with this. And if you're going from a card holder to this, it is so cumbersome. Like with this, you just pull out your card, you pay, you put it back, and you call it a day. But with this, you have to like take off the elastic, open it in front of like a whole bunch of people. So, you know, everybody's looking at the inside of your thing, especially if you have your credit cards like laying out here. Sometimes it doesn't fit enough credit cards. That's another thing. You have to pull out your credit card, and like you doing this like this in your hand at the cash register is like the most annoying thing ever. You have to take this out. You have to pay, you have to put it back in, you have to close it in elastic. Like it's like, it felt like a billion steps. Another thing is that I noticed that like I have to carry a notebook with me. Like what I do is I usually carry like anything that I can fit in a sling bag really. So either it's like an A6 notebook or like one of these moleskin notebooks. And you know, I do have to have a notebook. But another thing about the Traveler journal is that it doesn't stay open. It doesn't stay open, it doesn't stay flat. And so compared to the other notebooks I have, the fact that I have to get it to stay flat also was very cumbersome. And so all in all, I did not like this. I did not like this at all. I think also maybe it's the notebook size, maybe, I don't know. But overall, I kind of did not like this product. It just had too many cons to pros, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'll be getting rid of this. What I'm going to do, because I'm going to Japan, I'm going to do one final hoorah with this, and that is I'm going to use it as a passport holder. And I am going to purchase some inserts and some accessories for it in Japan. And I'm going to try using it in Japan as a passport holder. And if I still do not like it, then I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna get rid of it because it's just like I can replace it with things that I do. So that is the first travel journal. I'm not gonna set it up on camera just because it will have a lot of personal information. And we'll go from there. As you can see, yeah, I gotta replace the elastic before I go. The elastic is on its way out, that's for sure. So that is my first travel journal. It is the Camel Passport Travelers Company TN. The next one is my September leather. If you see my channel, you've probably seen this a couple times. This was a hit and miss when I first got it. When I first got it, I originally wanted to make this my planner setup. And another thing that I've noticed is that I am just a big fan of lay flat notebooks. So I quickly got annoyed with this. And what I actually purchased with this was the Sterling Ink, what is it, N1 planner. Again, editor me, please put a photo somewhere. But when I first got into Travelers Company, the reason, let me go back in time a little bit, but the first reason I actually decided to get TNs in the first place is because I use fountain pens. When I first, to give you a little background, I actually majored in architecture. And in architecture drafting, we use a lot of like fine liners and sort of archival ink pens. There's like the rapidograph pens, again, photo please. Those are like the old school fine liners before like Micron Sakuras. And then, you know, because those are actually a little bit more difficult to maintain, I've broken the nib on rapidograpphs multiple times, and I was like, no thank you. So I switched to Micron Sakuras, and Micron Sakuras, I finished like one a week for Micron Sakuras. And it was like one a week, if not two a week, and I was just burning through them. Micron Sakuras, if you're buying one pack for like 3 or 4 months, okay. But I was buying one pack a week. One pack is like $20. And so not only was I going through these pens extremely quickly, I was purchasing these pens at an extremely quick, like an extremely fast rate. And I was throwing them away at an extremely fast rate. So I was like, okay, what is a really good alternative to these Micron pens? Because they're just not sustainable for me. So I was like, okay, what about a fountain pen? I don't know why I thought about fountain pens, just because I've heard of fountain pens, but I've never was yeah, I'm gonna get a fountain pen. But I got my first one, and it was the knockoff of the Pilot 823, the custom 823. Again, I'll put a photo. And of course, at the time, I really didn't know anything about fountain pens or brands or anything like that. It was just the first one that popped off of Amazon. And so when I got the fountain pen in, I absolutely loved it. It was the only pen I used for months and months and months. And of course, I broke it because I don't know if it's because like I was rough with it or because I didn't maintain it correctly, but the body of or maybe I broke, I don't know what I did, but the piston fill mechanism, I broke like the end cap. And what's left of that pen is, let me see if I still have it. I think I do, but we're gonna see. Okay, I think I have what's remaining of it. Okay, yeah, okay, let me see. Here it is. I threw away the body of the pen because it was broken, and the only thing I kept was the nib. Because I couldn't throw away the nib because I loved the pen so much that I was like, I must keep you for literally forever. And so, yeah, let me push this down. Okay. I was like, I must literally keep you like forever. So I still have the nib of that pen, and I'm definitely actually going to repurchase the knockoff just because when I purchase expensive fountain pens, they don't leave the house. They stay in the house. Like after I use it, I'll put it back in like a little case or something so that it doesn't get damaged. But I really do want a pen that's just gonna stick with this TN like forever. I do want like them to be a set. But nonetheless, because I like fountain pens, a lot of, you know, fountain pen people have some sort of Travlers company product. And so I saw the Travlers company notebook by the Traveler's Notebook by Travlers Company, and I really liked it. But at the time, I thought it was like, how should I say? It was too thin. I thought that it was too thin, and I thought that, you know, another thing is like, because it was my first time using a TN, I didn't know if I would like it or not. So I wanted a like cheaper alternative option. So I got this September leather TN, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I love this. I love this now. When I first got it, I kind of didn't like it. It was really, I don't know what it was, but it was a little cumbersome to use, I feel. Maybe because the inserts that I were using wasn't my favorite. Like, I don't know. But what I did was I actually took this to Europe with me, and I used it in Europe, and just like I loved, like when I was in Spain, what I did was I sat down on the steps of a cathedral in a little square, and they had a coffee shop, and then they had like a live musician in the square singing in Spanish. So it was so romantic, and I opened this up, and like I got my sketchbook. Actually, let me get the Traveler insert. Let me get the insert that I used for this. So this is, let me see, I'm trying to flip to a page that doesn't have personal information, so I don't like have to blur it out. I really don't appreciate that when I have to like blur things out when I am, when I'm editing. And also I feel like when you're like looking at the screen, it's kind of like, or like when I see videos of people who like blur it out and stuff like that, I'm like, that's kind of like cumbersome. But nonetheless, I sat down and I sketched on the steps while using this traveler journal, and I was so in love. And so that's kind of like what made me fall back in love with this. And what's also really nice about this travel journal is the capacity. I think if you're somebody who likes TNs, you should have at least one of these that has a higher capacity than like the typical travel journal. This fits like 6 inserts. Do I put 6 inserts at a time? No. Sometimes like I put a lot of accessories that really help out. And I'll introduce that in the next TN. But this September leather one, what's really also nice, like if you're new to Traveler Journal, this came like as a full set. This came with the notebook, it came with the elastic, it came with an extra elastic, it came with pen clips, it came with binder clips, it came with inserts, it came with folders. Like, it was a full set, and it was around $30, and it was like a really, really good starter set. And as you can see, what I realized is the more I customize my TNs, the almost, I wouldn't say accessible, but I've kind of like, it feels like it's mine more than it feels like it's a product, if that makes sense. It's like it's become like an extension, or it's become like almost like my tool, if that makes sense. So I love this. Would I recommend this for traveling? To be honest, it's a lot. I think if you're going to maybe multiple countries and you want like an insert per country, this would be something you use. But for me, I feel like it shines as like a notebook system that you would use. Like if you have some sort of multiple notebook system, I feel like this is like where it shines. I definitely am looking for an excuse to use this again. It's been on my shelf. It patinas like really nicely, in my opinion, and it's so pretty, it's so nice. I love it to death, and I'm just waiting for another excuse to use it. And I feel like when you travel with a TN, it like, I don't know, it finds a way to your heart, for lack of a better term. And maybe that's why like I want to travel with this, because I'm thinking like, if I travel with this, maybe I won't hate this. Maybe there's a special place for this that only this can perform. So that's what I'm thinking about with these traveler journals. The next traveler journal is my blue TN, and this is actually one that I made. I saw this, I've always wanted a blue TN from Travlers company. I feel like the blue TN is more of like a teal, and this is more of like an ocean blue. I actually made this myself. And FYI, I am Palestinian, so if you are offended that I'm Palestinian, well, good for you. You can click off whenever you feel like it. But that's why I have this medallion here. And so, nonetheless, I made this TN myself. I cut it up myself. I sealed the edges with beeswax and a lighter to get that. Like, I sanded it, I put beeswax, I put a lighter to it, so the edges are quite nice. And inside this is also like my favorite. I love this. This is actually the Galen leather TN wallet insert. And I think this is what color is this? It's like one of the browns. It's not brown, it's like the camel, I think. And this, I'm not gonna lie to you, this has saved my life. And how has it saved my life? I actually put this because my September leather is super thick. It fits something like this. I think that the Travlers company notebooks might be a little bit of a stretch. It might not fit as much as you need in the Travlers, but for the September leather, it was perfect. I fit like this and like the inserts that I needed. It was perfect. Now, the reason why I say this saved my life is because I was pickpocketed multiple times in Spain. Spain in particular. I think Italy, I didn't have any trouble, and I think Italy was fine, and every other country was kind of fine. But Spain, if you're in Barcelona, you will get pickpocketed. I feel like it's like is going to happen. Like, the pockets that were pickpocketed was 3 different pockets. Let me go ahead and get the bag that I used in Spain. So as you can see, this leather backpack, it's not, it's out of the screen, but it's okay. This leather backpack is the backpack that I used in Spain. It is a beautiful bag, right? It's got that Indiana Jones vibe that I absolutely love. It's an adventure bag. This bag was open and pickpocketed. This bag was open and pickpocketed. Like, every time I flipped my bag around, this pocket was always open. But what scared the living daylights out of me was this back pocket. My expectation is that if it's a back pocket, it's secure. I actually took this out of my TN at the time, and I slipped it in the back like this. It's huge, right? It's like extremely big. And I found that somebody had opened this like this. This is how it opened. And as you can see, thank the heavens, there is an additional pocket back here. So if you can see, there is 1, 2, 3 compartments. And I thank God. I thank God every single day. I had my passport in here. I had my cash, credit cards, ID. Like, if I lost this, I would be beyond stranded. I would lose everything, basically, and it would be the worst trip of my life. The reason why I highly recommend, if you're somebody who travels and is willing to spend, I think they're like $80 now. I don't remember if they're cheaper. But if you're somebody who's willing to spend this, or what you can look for is something called a boarding pass wallet. I'll also put a picture of that on the screen. This, actually, what I started doing is I put my cash, my currencies, I put my wallet, it fits a passport, and I would put this in my TN. There is no way on God's green earth somebody is going to think about stealing my notebook. Like, they're not going to do it. It's not going to occur to them to steal my notebook. And I swear, if I did not put my wallet in my TN, or if I didn't put this in, like, if I didn't put all my stuff in here and put it in my TN, I would have been stranded in Europe. And I think, like, I am so thankful for this product. Like, it is the best product on the planet. Because, like, for me, now I know I will never be pickpocketed as long as I have this set up. Like, it's just never gonna happen. And so, you know, when I put this in my September leather, I know that I'm never going to lose a notebook because, you know, one thing is just like I'm using the notebook all the time when I'm traveling. And this is huge. Nobody would think that this is a wallet. And so for me, like, you know, even though you have to carry a bigger bag for something like this, it's 1,000 times, it's like 1,000,000,000 times worth it. For me, when I travel, what goes in my backpack is water, is an additional tote bag, it is my traveler's journal, and it is some toiletries that I use. And all of that has to fit in like some sort of like a shoulder bag or a backpack. And so for me, it's okay. Like, if I'm traveling, I feel like it's completely okay to have a bigger bag and just deal with the inconvenience, like for the trip. I'm completely okay with that. If you're somebody who uses a smaller bag, this might not be your favorite thing in the world. But I am so thankful for this product, and it has become my dedicated wallet when I travel. And it's been like that for a long time. I do have a few things. I have a passport in here that I can't show you. But I also have the Galen Leather protractor tool that I really love in here. It's just a really good tool. And this fits is because this actually broke. The fabric inside kind of ripped off. And I am planning in the future to travel to Turkey one of these days, and I'll ask them to fix it when I'm there. And so, you know, I have, you know, there's pockets for your credit cards. There's this pocket, and then there's a passport can also go in here. And I also have like just a few like stickers here that I just really love as decor. The quality of this product is also really amazing. As you can see, it has patinaed quite nicely, and I'm not gonna ever get rid of this because it is just like the feeling of safety I have when I have like all of my stuff on all of my stuff like with my traveler's notebook, like all in one system or setup, has been just a lifesaver for me. And so, you know, I can't stress it enough, really. But if you don't want to purchase like the Galen Leather wallet insert, and you want something like slightly cheaper, there are boarding pass wallets that are basically, I believe this is like the same thing. They're the same size, the same dimensions, and I definitely want to get another one in a different color because I do want one that's like, this is a great color, but I don't want to keep moving it to places. I want multiple is basically what I'm saying. And so when I have this all set up, and because I'm using my traveler's journal like all the time when I'm traveling, like whenever we like get back to the hotel or when we're at a cafe or something, I can spend like maybe a half an hour like updating my traveler journal. This is always in my sight. I always see this and it's always with me. So I really like it. I really, really like it, if I can't tell you enough. And also this is like the blue leather that I said. I did add a pen loop myself, but I do have to fix it because it has, I should have moved the leather on the inside and everything. But anyway, that's a different thing. But that is my blue Traveler insert that I've made myself. Last but not least is the black one. And if you've seen my previous videos in the past, you know, this is just a regular black TN that I plan on using for my 2026 setup. Am I ever going to use this for travel? I don't think so. I love my blue and my September leather for travel. This one I feel like is just like an everyday. One thing for certain is that I notice is that the Traveler Journal products, I feel like are optimized for travel. They are super thin and super compact, and you can just tell that they're designed for a minimalistic setup. And to be honest, when you travel, like what I've noticed is that you need less than what you think. I think one insert is literally usually good enough if you have a full itinerary. If you're going for a more relaxing trip, maybe 1.5, you're not using as much as you think. For me, if I look at, this is actually the insert that I made for, for my Europe trip that I took in 2023. I went to Spain, Italy, and Morocco. And to be honest, I couldn't write in it at all. I only could just paste ephemera afterwards, as you can see. And this isn't really like a curated Traveler journal, and that is because I actually made 3 or 4 inserts because I thought that's how much I would be sketching and writing, and that is not the case. I literally used one insert, and this has about 30 pages in it, and half of it is just stickers, or half of it is just like pasted ephemera. You're just gonna need less than you think. And so I think that is where, like, why Traveler's Journal is so thin. It is definitely a traveler's notebook. And so for me, that's kind of like how I'm going to see it from now on, that it is something that you travel with. It is a simple, easy, minimalistic setup, and it stays true to that concept. Nonetheless, that is my TN collection. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Do I think that, now I am going to Japan, so I will be choosing the 2 TNs that I'm taking with me, and I have decided on this blue and this TN and this like passport size, because I want to give the passport size another chance, and I also want to stamp some of this, some of my leather covers, and these 2 colors are like the ones that I want to stamp. I feel like my September leather is too thick for traveling. I definitely think it's more of a like, because it gets heavy when it's full. It's definitely something that you should use maybe at home. But I definitely want to put my passport in here, give it another shot. If I hate it, it's gonna go. This is because this is a new one that I made. I definitely want to break it in. And also it is smaller slightly than your typical TN. So that's cute, and it fits my Galen leather wallet insert perfectly. So that is what I'll be using. And to give you my last 2 thoughts, I've seen people with insane leather notebook collections. They are amazing to look at in every sense of the word. I could never do that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, I really want to get my Traveler's notebooks to patina. I really want to see wear and tear on these, like very similar to my September leather one. I feel like when they're just used well, like this particular material, the leather, just accepts the aging so beautifully. And so that is what I'm kind of want to go for with my TNs. Another thing is that if I ever need a TN in the future, I'm not gonna lie to you, unless it's like an amazing like looking TN or something like that, I don't know if I'd ever buy it again. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I'm just gonna continue making them, just because I have all the tools and I have all like the drafting tools to like make patterns and stuff like that. So unless like it's a unique maybe like a TN with some sort of pockets or a customized TN or something like that, I don't think I'll buy anytime soon. But I'm super excited for the future. I don't know where life will take me, but I really want these tans to go with me on plenty of adventures. But I think that's it. Very excited. Tips and tricks on how to get this to work for me would be nice. But nonetheless, I will see you in the next one. Bye.